There's a silence Sigma males enter that isn't defeat, it's incubation. People think he's vanished, withdrawn, or lost his edge, but what they don't see is the storm forming behind that calm exterior, a calculated, emotionless rebuilding that only a Sigma can master. This isn't retreat, it's strategy, because when a Sigma male disappears into stillness, he's not escaping the world, he's recalibrating his purpose. His mind shifts from reaction to observation. Every betrayal becomes data. Every loss becomes leverage. The world assumes he's quiet because he's broken, but in reality, he's aligning his next move with surgical precision. His silence isn't emptiness, it's focus. His absence isn't weakness. It's power gathering strength in the shadows. And when he comes back, it's never to prove anyone wrong, it's to prove himself right. Because the dark calm before a Sigma's comeback is never peace, it's preparation. If you've ever felt that quiet before your own rise, that sense that something inside you is evolving, you already understand. Subscribe to Brainywise for more Sigma insights like this, where silence is strength, solitude is strategy, and comebacks are inevitable. Tell me in the comments, what did your dark calm teach you? Withdrawal as recalibration, not retreat. When a Sigma male disappears, most people assume he's given up. They think he's exhausted, lost his direction, or simply fading into the background. But what they don't realize is that his silence isn't surrender, it's preparation. The Sigma doesn't retreat to escape life. He withdraws to rebuild from within. Every moment of solitude becomes a recalibration, a deep, calculated process where he studies what went wrong, who drained his energy, and where his path started diverging from his true purpose. His isolation is not an act of weakness. It's an act of war, waged in stillness. In that quiet, he strips his world down to essentials. No noise, no distractions, no people pretending to understand him. He dissects his own emotions like data, decoding the patterns behind every loss and betrayal. While others drown in overthinking, the Sigma uses solitude as a sharpening stone, turning pain into perception. He doesn't spiral. He systematizes. He removes everything that no longer aligns, from toxic attachments to outdated ambitions. To an outsider, this looks like disappearance, but to the Sigma, it's a silent rebirth. It's in this stillness that he reclaims clarity, not from seeking external advice, but from tuning into his own instincts. His mind becomes an operating room, cutting away illusions until only truth remains. He recalibrates his vision, redefines his boundaries, and rebuilds the quiet confidence that made him untouchable in the first place. He's not hiding from the world, he's detaching from its chaos to return sharper, calmer, and infinitely more focused. By the time people notice his absence, he's already 5 steps ahead, realigning his energy, rewriting his goals, and fortifying his mindset. When the Sigma withdraws, he's not running away, he's upgrading in silence. And when he finally reemerges, he doesn't come back seeking validation, he comes back to conquer with precision. His comeback isn't loud or dramatic. It's methodical, inevitable, and unstoppable. Because for the Sigma male, withdrawal is never a retreat. It's a calculated return to dominance. Observation mode. Studying patterns in silence. When the Sigma male goes quiet, he enters a state of heightened awareness, what he calls observation mode. To the world, it may look like he's detached, uninterested, or emotionally distant. But beneath that silence, his mind is collecting data like a precision instrument. He studies patterns, not just in people's actions, but in their tone, timing, and energy. Every conversation, every reaction, every inconsistency becomes a clue in the unspoken map he builds of human behavior. While most people talk to respond, the Sigma listens to understand. He watches how people reveal themselves, not through their words, but through the gaps between them. His silence is his microscope. When he stops engaging, he sees things others miss. Manipulation, masked as kindness, confidence hiding insecurity, loyalty that only exists when it's convenient. He's learned that you don't need confrontation to uncover truth, just patience. So he waits. He observes how people act when they think he's no longer paying attention. He studies their patterns until their masks slip naturally. This isn't coldness, it's clarity. The Sigma's observation mode is a kind of psychological fasting. He removes emotional noise to detect what's real. During this period, he becomes almost invisible, moving through social spaces without announcing his thoughts. He allows others to expose their motives while he refines his understanding of them. This detachment isn't arrogance. It's awareness matured through experience. He's been burned enough to know that words mean little and energy never lies. And when he finally speaks again, every word carries the precision of someone who's already analyzed every angle. By that point, he no longer reacts emotionally, he responds with accuracy. His silence transforms into a weapon, a shield, and a filter all at once. Because while everyone else is busy performing, the Sigma is decoding. He knows that the loudest people often hide the most, and those who underestimate his silence rarely survive his awareness. Observation, for him, is not passive, it's power in its purest, most controlled form. Emotional neutrality as strategic power. For the Sigma male, emotional neutrality isn't indifference, it's discipline. While others explode, overreact, or get pulled into the chaos of conflict, he stands perfectly still, emotionally unmoved yet fully aware. His calm presence unsettles people because it exposes how easily they lose control. This neutrality is not a void, it's precision. The Sigma knows that emotions, when unmanaged, are weapons that can be turned against you. So he doesn't suppress what he feels, he masters it. He feels everything. But nothing owns him. In moments of betrayal, provocation, or manipulation, his face doesn't shift. His silence becomes the loudest statement in the room. Where others chase revenge or validation, he focuses on outcome. What's worth responding to? What's worth walking away from? This calculated composure gives him an advantage most people never achieve: clarity in emotional storms. When people expect a reaction and receive stillness instead, they start to reveal their true motive. His neutrality forces others to confront their own instability. This isn't coldness, it's wisdom learned through pain. The Sigma has been through enough emotional wars to understand that reaction feeds control. Every argument, every manipulation, every guilt trip relies on your willingness to engage. So he stopped giving that fuel. He learned that peace is the highest ground, and whoever maintains it holds the power. His calm isn't passive, it's active resistance. It disarms opponents, resets dynamics, and turns chaos into strategy. Over time, this neutrality becomes magnetic. People who once underestimated him now find his composure intimidating. His stillness feels like control, his restraint like dominance. While others burn out from emotional overinvestment, the Sigma stays centered, observing from a place of detachment and purpose. He knows that reacting to everything means mastering nothing, and so he uses his emotional neutrality not to escape the world, but to command it quietly, with precision and power, turning pain into precision. Pain doesn't break a Sigma male, it sharpens him. Every disappointment, betrayal, or loss becomes a blueprint for evolution. Where most people drown in emotion, the Sigma extracts information. He dissects the pain, studies its anatomy, and finds the lesson buried within it. For him, suffering isn't something to escape, it's something to decode. Each time he's hurt, he takes mental notes, not about who to blame, but about how to become stronger, wiser, and less reactive next time. His scars are not reminders of weakness. They're coordinates on a map leading to mastery. In his solitude, he replays events like a strategist reviewing a battle. He studies not just what happened, but why. What patterns he missed, what boundaries he ignored, what instincts he silenced. This analytical reflection transforms pain from chaos into clarity. It's not bitterness that drives him, it's refinement. Every emotional wound becomes an update to his internal system, teaching him how to navigate people and energy with surgical accuracy. What others see as trauma, he sees as data. The Sigma doesn't let his emotions cloud his perception, he lets them guide it. Instead of reacting impulsively, he channels that raw energy into focus. On his craft, his goals, his transformation. His revenge is not in retaliation, it's in precision. He learns exactly how to move, when to disappear, and how to re-emerge untouchable. The same pain that destroyed others becomes the foundation for his dominance. This process is quiet but powerful. While others seek sympathy, the Sigma builds systems. While they vent, he recalibrates. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every loss becomes another layer of emotional armor, not to shut the world out, but to move through it with unshakable stability. His precision is born from pain that no longer controls him. It's what makes him dangerous. Not because he seeks to harm, but because nothing can shake a man who has already transformed suffering into strength. For the Sigma, pain isn't punishment. It's the most honest teacher he's ever had. The minimalist phase, stripping life to its core. When the Sigma male enters his minimalist phase, it isn't about decluttering his space, it's about purifying his mind. After enduring cycles of chaos, noise, and betrayal, he starts removing anything that feels heavy, fake, or forced. It begins quietly. Fewer conversations, fewer distractions, fewer attachments. What remains is silence, simplicity, and truth. He starts viewing excess not as abundance, but as interference. Everything that doesn't align with peace becomes irrelevant. It's not a rejection of the world. It's a return to his essence. In this phase, the Sigma reevaluates everything: people, habits, ambitions. He asks one question: does this serve my growth or drain my energy? If it drains, it goes. He stops explaining, stops defending, stops performing for a world addicted to noise. His priorities condense into clarity, discipline, solitude, and purpose. It's not that he stops caring, it's that he refuses to care about things that cost him his sanity. This stripping down is his reset, his way of rebuilding from truth instead of illusion. Externally, it might look like isolation. Internally, it's liberation. The Sigma learns that simplicity breeds power. When there's no clutter, focus sharpens. When there's no constant emotional noise, intuition gets louder. He no longer needs validation to know his worth or company to feel alive. The fewer moving parts in his life, the smoother everything runs. People who once fed off his attention begin to fade, unable to survive his new emotional economy. This minimalist phase isn't temporary, it's transformational. The Sigma doesn't simplify for aesthetic reasons, he simplifies for survival. He's learned that peace isn't found in more, it's found in less. The less drama, the less noise, the less pretending, the more clarity, control, and emotional wealth he gains. Every removal feels like a reclaiming. Every goodbye makes room for growth. By the time he's done, his life becomes a reflection of precision, everything intentional, nothing wasted. And in that stillness, he rediscovers something the world forgets. Power isn't in having everything. It's in needing almost nothing. Rebuilding identity in solitude? For the Sigma male, solitude isn't an escape. It's a construction site. When life collapses, when trust is broken, or when the noise of the world becomes unbearable, he withdraws, not to disappear, but to rebuild. It's in the silence that he disassembles every version of himself built for others, the pleaser, the fixer, the performer, and begins crafting the man he was meant to be. The solitude feels raw at first. There's an ache that comes with being alone, but soon that ache turns into focus. He starts hearing his own thoughts again, unfiltered by opinion or expectation. In the quiet, he faces everything he once ran from. His failures, his patterns, his unspoken desires, all laid bare in the stillness. Most people distract themselves from this confrontation, but the Sigma welcomes it. He knows identity isn't found in comfort, it's forged in confrontation. Every reflection becomes a blueprint. Every memory becomes a lesson. Slowly, he begins replacing reaction with awareness, insecurity with self-respect, and external approval with internal authority. The world might mistake his withdrawal for weakness, but it's actually refinement. While they chase validation, he's redefining meaning. While they perform for attention, he's calibrating his purpose. He stops needing to prove and starts choosing to be. This rebuilding process is silent, almost invisible to outsiders, yet deeply transformative. It's not about becoming someone new, it's about returning to who he's always been, beneath the conditioning. When the Sigma reemerges from solitude, he doesn't announce it. There's no dramatic comeback, just a quiet, undeniable shift in energy. He carries a new kind of presence, the kind that doesn't demand respect, but naturally commands it. His words carry more weight because they come from clarity, not confusion. His actions are deliberate, stripped of ego, rooted in purpose. Solitude becomes his sanctuary, the place where he resets his truth, restores his power, and rebuilds his vision. It's there that he learns the most important lesson. The strongest version of a man isn't the one surrounded by people, but the one who can rebuild himself in silence and walk back into the world unshaken, because his foundation was built in solitude. The return, purpose-driven and unshakable. When the Sigma male finally returns from his silence, he is no longer the same man who left. His reemergence isn't loud, it's precise. The world might not notice it at first, but everything about him has changed. His tone, his energy, his focus. He's lighter, yet stronger, calmer, yet more commanding. Every wound he once carried has been transformed into wisdom. Every setback has turned into strategy. His comeback isn't about revenge, it's about direction. The Sigma doesn't return to prove anyone wrong. He returns to prove himself right. This phase marks the transition from recovery to reignition. The solitude that once looked like disappearance was actually incubation. During that quiet, he rebuilt his internal compass. Now he moves with clarity, knowing exactly who he is, what he stands for, and what no longer deserves his energy. His goals have matured. He no longer chases validation, applause, or attention. He chases alignment. His every move is intentional, stripped of distraction and ego. That's what makes his presence so magnetic. It's not forced. It's earned. When people who once underestimated him cross paths again, they sense something they can't explain. It's not arrogance. It's authority. A grounded confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. The Sigma doesn't argue anymore, doesn't over-explain, doesn't seek closure. His silence, once seen as retreat, now feels like dominance. He lets results speak where words once failed. Those who doubted him now feel uneasy in his calm. Those who wronged him sense they no longer have access. What defines this return isn't what he gains, but what he no longer needs. Approval? Gone. Drama? Irrelevant. Distractions? Deleted. He's become untouchable. Not because he's above others, but because he's mastered himself. Purpose has replaced pride, clarity has replaced confusion, and peace has replaced people-pleasing. This is the Sigma's quiet victory, not in conquering others but in mastering his world from within. His journey through solitude has given him something far more powerful than recognition. It's given him direction. Now, every step he takes echoes with quiet certainty. He doesn't move to prove, he moves to become. And when a Sigma male becomes purpose-driven, nothing and no one can shake him again. The calm after the storm. Victory without noise. When the storm finally settles and the dust of conflict fades, the Sigma male doesn't stand on the battlefield looking for applause. He simply walks away. Quiet, grounded, untouched by the chaos that once surrounded him. His victory doesn't look like fireworks. It feels like stillness. It's not about proving dominance. It's about mastering peace. The calm after the storm isn't silence born from exhaustion. It's silence born from power, the kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself to be felt. The world expects a comeback to be loud, dramatic in public, but the Sigma's success unfolds differently. His triumph lives in discipline, in consistency, in the simple fact that he never lost himself when everything tried to break him. His revenge isn't destruction, it's evolution. While others are still talking about what happened, he's already building something new, somewhere they can't follow. The storm didn't break him. It revealed him. It stripped away the noise, the distractions, and the weak connections until only purpose remained. What makes his calm so unsettling is its depth. He no longer reacts to noise because he's learned to listen to silence. He's not chasing closure because he's already found it within himself. The people who once drained him now feel the absence of his energy, and they can't understand how he became so unreachable. That's the beauty of his quiet victory. It's invisible to those who only see power as dominant. His wins happen in the shadows, in the choices no one sees, in the discipline no one claps for. This calm isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter. The Sigma male emerges from the storm with sharper intuition, stronger emotional armor, and a deeper sense of direction. He no longer measures life in reactions, but in results. And while others are busy explaining their success, he's already on to the next evolution. His victory is internal. Peace, clarity, purpose. He's no longer proving, chasing, or competing. The Sigma has learned that the highest form of power isn't found in chaos or conquest, but in calm. Because when a man reaches the point where nothing outside him can shake what's within, that's not just peace, that's mastery. In the end, this is the quiet truth about Sigma males. Their greatest victories don't echo, they resonate. When everyone else fights for attention, they rise through evolution. Their calm isn't weakness, it's control. Their silence isn't absence, it's intention. The world might never see the battles they fight, but it will always feel the power of their peace. If this message spoke to you, if you've ever rebuilt yourself in silence, walked away instead of explaining, or turned pain into precision, then you understand the Sigma mindset. You know that your strength isn't about being loud, it's about being unshakable. So before you scroll away, take a second to support the journey. Hit that subscribe button to join the Brainy Wise community where we decode the psychology of strength, solitude, and transformation. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever gone silent just to rebuild yourself and came back stronger than anyone expected? Share your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to hear it.